Welcome to Safe Path Home. This week we're with Rowan Childs, Executive Director of the Madison Reading Project.
Phew.
I know. It's a really cool organization that I love being involved with, but I wanted to read some statistics about reading, and then we'll get into it, yeah? Okay. So this is interesting. According to a report by the National Assessment of Educational Progress, only 37% of fourth graders and 34% of eighth graders are proficient in reading. That's staggering, right?
Mm-hmm.
A survey conducted by Scholastic, our favorite book fairs, right, revealed that only 51% of kids between 6 and 17 read for fun. And that percent just keeps decreasing as people get older. Kids who read 20 minutes or a day are exposed to 1.8 million words a year.
Wow.
I know, right? 61% of low-income families have no books at all in their homes. And that's where you come in.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell just a little bit about yourself and kind of how Madison Reading Project got started.
Okay. My name's Rowan. I'm the founder of Madison Reading Project. Way back when, 10 plus years ago, or actually probably 11 or so, I was helping my own son sort of battle the I'm bored at school with these books syndrome. I thought I'd done all the right things. We had books in our home. He had been read to with his sibling. I loved books. We had all kinds of things. We went to the library, but he just really didn't like the books at school and would rather be playing outside, which isn't too uncommon.
Right.
But the teacher said he was getting behind in reading, so it took some time to figure out how to re-engage him in reading and finding more things that he was excited about to read. And eventually, over time, he was able to get back up to where he needed to be. But it really made me start thinking about other kids in our community and in the Madison area and what happens if they don't get back up to speed or what some of the literacy rates are. So I started digging in to some of that information and was looking at a way of seeing if I could help another child. You know, anything from like, should I volunteer my time? Should I volunteer at a school? And it just kept pestering me, like just thinking about all the discrepancies of kids who have money, don't have money, who lives near a library, who doesn't live near a library, parents, resources, languages, all those different things that go into helping kids be excited about reading or about owning their own books. Eventually, got up enough courage after about a year of talking to people to try and do something myself, and I had this idea of giving kids awesome books that they would be excited to pick out and then own and read. Keep in their own homes, especially since a lot of low-income students do not have that many books or reading material of any kind in their home. That was our very first pilot program, was to do just that. So we started with 30 kids at an after-school program at Salvation Army on Darbo Drive. And the kids were really excited about our first go-around of providing books, having someone, I think also just having someone new come in to talk about books was exciting for them. And the books that they had initially were really worn out and tattered and not fun-looking, or they didn't look like them in the stories. And so having some new books was also just super exciting for them. So that was our very first sort of creation of our idea of what we wanted to do and our very first partner.
Right on. Mm-hmm. So that evolved over the years to be where you are now. I want to hear some of the cool results that you had in 2023. We're just in the spring of 2024.
Fast forward 10 years.
Yeah, let's do that.
So very first partner, we had 30 kids and very few funds, but a lot of books were donated, and we purchased some new books to where we're at today. We give out over 125,000 books per year, which is amazing. Those are all new books. We've been very fortunate to be able to change slowly over time from all donated to half donated, half purchased to all purchased books. And that's awesome. So we can give away these amazing books that no one else has read, no one else's name is in it, no one's scribbled in those books. Those are beautiful books that kids are excited about. And in 2023, not only did we give that many books away, but we worked with around 50,000 kids in the Dane County area.
From 30 to 50,000.
It does sound a little. That's pretty amazing. We work with all different kinds of partners. So anything from an individual teacher or social worker, a classroom, a school district, after school programs, park departments, events that happen at public parks when it's nice out in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
The health department, hospitals, babies being born.
Anywhere where there's kids.
Anywhere where there's kids, really, or parents, adults that work with kids. So it could be even something from like the health department to it could be a program like a job center. It could be a grocery store, laundromat, all the way to schools, community centers, down to like some other places where there might be more adults, but that's where, adults generally have kids. Try and sort of be everywhere where kids might be, and provide them with awesome books that they're excited at and are curated for where we're going. So that's something we really specialize in. If we know we're going somewhere where there's going to be second and third graders, those we know what kind of books to bring. We always have a bunch of questions for the adults organizing that excursion so that the kids have just like an awesome assortment of books to pick from in the right languages, or if it's a particular something that they've studied in class versus just, bringing all high school books or something like that. And it's obviously not age-based.
Right.
Or interest-based.
How are you distributing books?
So we have a variety of different programs. So often it might be an existing partnership, it might be bus visits, it might be after school programming.
You have a bus?
We do. We have a free book bus. We give all the books out. They don't have to be returned, so that whether those are going to teachers or to kids or families, they get to keep the books. And the bus has been amazing. It's turning 5 this year. So the bus takes the books and our staff to exactly where the kids are. So we're always trying to remove barriers for kids to access books and that reading and like fun engagement piece. And way back when, it was much more difficult to figure out how to send a staff person in their own vehicle and boxes of books and a table and a tablecloth. It became really difficult. So having our own vehicle with all of those things and the branding all on the outside is much easier. And it's very clear to kids or anyone when our vehicle arrives that we're here for kids and there's books on the outside and it looks fun. That vehicle has just been amazing at being able to do exactly what we want to do.
Right.
Whether it's going to an apartment building or a block party, an after-school party, literacy party, it does everything we need it to do pretty much.
So you have one book bus right now, which is basically a van outfitted to hold books.
Super cool van.
It is really cool.
A custom van.
It is really cool. But what's coming this year now?
Yeah, so thank you. Because the bus has been so good at what we want to do, and it's also very, I think, specific. A lot of people who know the bus think of Madison Reading Project, and they picture that bus in their mind as like what we do. So we were thinking about, should we get another one? Should it be the same bus? Before we couldn't be in 2 places at once. So we really sort of dreamt a lot about like what would we do if we could get another bus. And although we will be doing fast forward, we will be getting our second bus in May. It'll be all accessible. That's something that our current bus isn't. And so that means there's a wheelchair lift. It's much easier to get on and off the stairs into the bus for folks, whether they're adults or kids. And with that lift, we'll also be able to bring a lot more things outside, which will be much easier. So you can walk up, you can roll up, stroll up, and bring all kinds of carts down to the ground for people to browse and pick out books from, or they can go into the bus.
A bigger, cooler experience.
Bigger, cooler bus.
I'm familiar with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library because I'm a reader and just it's a nonprofit that I've always loved. Tell me a little bit about your partnership with them and kind of how that came to fruition and how that's going.
The amazing Dolly Parton. She has part of her foundation provides books for kids. Their foundation does amazing work at organizing all of the authors and the books, and they're all tailored to the age of the child. So if you have 3 kids in your house under the age of 5, each child who's enrolled would get a different book every month. So if someone's 1, 3, and 5, you're going to get 3 different books, and that's amazing, and they get mailed to your house. Yeah. So again, sort of removing some barriers there. Go to the library, you don't have to pay for them, you just have to sign your child up. And our program we run is for Dane County, so you can sign your child up and they can get books until they turn 5 for free. So our work is a lot of the outreach and management of all of the children who are signed up for that, problem solving, you know, postal addresses, all the way just really trying to get as many kids signed up into the program because it's amazing. And likewise with all of that outreach, it's been great to also educate all kinds of schools and hospitals and clinics about all the other services we provide around early literacy, family literacy.
I gotta tell you, I'm a realtor, so I was in someone's house talking about potentially listing their home. This was totally random, just a few weeks ago, and the mail came while I was there, and there were books for the kid. And the kiddo was like maybe 3. So excited to see that package of books come and get delivered, and the mail carrier handed it right to the kiddo, and it was amazing.
That's
it was
awesome.
neat to like see that. To be there and see the excitement on a kid's face. So that's important stuff.
It's amazing. Right now we have around 12,000 kids signed up in that program alone, which means mail carriers in our county are delivering 12,000 books a month to kids, which is great, just having that many more books in circulation. And anyone can sign up for that program. You really just need a mailing address. And we do have some families reach out to us who don't have a mailing address, or they might be sort of right on that county line. So we can come up with some other ways to help them out with books.
Creative way to get it to them.
Not, if it doesn't quite fit with the postal address.
That's awesome. People just need to call. Okay, let's talk about diversity in titles. So you touched on this for just a second, but why is it important for kids to like see themselves in a book?
So I do have a couple of books here.
Show me what you brought.
Just a wide assortment. I mean, imagine if you're a kid or even as an adult, it's exciting when you see someone that might look like yourself on the cover and be the main character of the book, or it might be someone that looks like your family member or your family, or someone that you know from
You've
history.
got some Spanish language books there too.
This one's in Native American.
Love it.
All kinds of awesome stories and tales, and we talk a lot about mirrors and windows, and just, there's some pride in just knowing that you might look like someone who's on the cover of the book, or it's a story about someone that looks like you or lives in your neighborhood. And we want the books that we give out to be representative of the kids that we're working with. And likewise, there's all different kinds of things. It doesn't have to be a nonfiction book. We want all kinds of great stories to be in our book center and being given to kids and in classrooms. And it's exciting for kids to be the main character, no matter who you are. And then likewise, I think just seeing, whether it's a family structure or history or just something fun, like I'm going swimming in a pool, that can be anybody, that is everybody, or I'm going on an awesome adventure to the park with my classroom. There's, when I think about even in my youth, some of the books that were my favorite, there were people who were going on a boat to another country or to another land, or they were in outer space, and just all of those things you can imagine. So sort of, we always want to provide a wide assortment of books for kids to pick from, also for teachers to pick from. So if they're picking books for their classroom, they want to pick books ideally, that's reflective of the kids in the community or in their classroom. And they also want to pick books that are exciting and new topics for kids to explore and imagine themselves. And that's the number one probably request from teachers, are diverse books. So we always want to make sure our whole book center just has a wide assortment of books forever.
How do you serve teachers?
So we have a specific educator program that runs during the school year, so September through May, give or take. And it's a program teachers can sign up for, so it's 25 free books per school year for their classroom library for the teachers to keep. And so they just have to sign up, and we work our way through the wait list. It's pretty amazing. Most of the teachers come in to shop for their books at our book center, can pick out anything they want, which is great. So they might have some of those options, or they might not have any of the options. So they usually have a wish list, or they can come and just pick up a bag if they know exactly what they want, and we just happen to have those titles. We've slowly grown that program over the last 4 or 5 years. We're now serving over 1,200 teachers per school year.
That's amazing.
And we get great feedback from the teachers and testimonials, and also have a really great newsletter that goes to educators with all kinds of book lists and resources, so that they don't have to do all of that research work. We've done it for them.
I mean, we hear about teachers spending all this money on supplies and resources for their classroom.
Yeah, they're doing the hard work.
Yeah, and
buying
books are
things.
expensive.
Books are really, yes.
So
books are expensive. It takes time to research what's new, what's out there. You know, it could be something that's like very specific that just came out in the last school year, and our literacy experts and staff are always listening to what children are asking for, what a teacher is asking for, to make sure that the books we have for teachers are the best ones that, you know, many different teachers come in. So we have teachers in 1st grade, 5th, 8th, 12th grade. It could be a variety of different subjects and grade levels and interests. So we try and sort of put that all together. Yeah. And with that newsletter that goes out, teachers also find that extremely helpful, and they also give us a lot of really good feedback, sort of what's happening in school, what's happening in their classroom, all kinds of great questions or suggestions too on different books and titles.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I love what you do for teachers. I have family members who are teachers, and they love coming to the book center for books. So let's talk about banned books for a minute. With all the banned book proposals making us all kind of crazy.
Yes.
Is Madison Reading Project, did you stop giving away banned books?
No, I mean, if so banned books, I mean, we're always paying attention to that. Even I would say in Dane County, there's definitely books that are probably on some people's lists that they would like banned. Some are definitely outside of Dane County or in other states. Absolutely, it's not that it is not happening around us. Yeah, I do have some friends in other similar book giving operations in more southern states where they said probably more than half the books that we give out, they would not even be able to purchase them.
Wow.
I do think we're very fortunate given where we are in the Madison area. Yeah. But we're always paying attention to that.
I'm sure.
A lot of books that are banned could be because of their author. They might be authors or illustrators of color. They might be because they have children or family structures that are not considered the norm. A lot of those are titles, topics that an adult, whether they even have a child in that school or not, deems inappropriate. And a lot of the books that we give out feature children of color or are written by illustrators or authors and illustrators of color. And so a lot of the books we give out and a lot of the topics that we provide or provide in our selection of kids to pick books to pick from would be considered banned in other states.
And we are lucky, aren't we?
So we're always paying attention to that. We try and do a lot of advocacy around Banned Book Week. It's always sort of on my mind. I get asked that question more and more.
I bet.
Because people see it in the news or they hear about it at a school. And we definitely we talk about that at our work a lot. And similarly, we also get questions about, anything from what do we do with books that come in that are not appropriate or are even, 10 years old, and that is not how we talk about
it
people
didn't age
anymore.
well, yeah.
It doesn't, and a lot of that sometimes is a nonfiction book, but there are definitely books that were still being published 5 years ago, 10 years ago from reputable publishers, but that's just not how we talk about people anymore. And so we do remove those out of our free libraries.
So you have to stay on top of all that.
Yep.
You just mentioned free libraries. You guys fill little free libraries too. How did that all happen?
So in the sorting, initially we had all donated books.
Right.
And any of the books, sometimes we try and keep all of the best books for kids and for giving programs, but sometimes books could still be good, but they might have a scribble in them or just slightly worn. And we want to make sure in the book giving programs that we offer kids that all of the books are at the same level.
Right.
But the books that are slightly worn are still good. We check over all of the books that are donated to us, and then people can pick up books for Little Free Libraries, and we also have volunteers stock them. So those books, because they've been all checked through and sorted, we feel comfortable with them being billed in Little Free Libraries. And we stock around, I think it's already over 25 Little Free Libraries.
Cool.
in the Madison area, and people also can come just get a box of children's books for their little free library.
I always have a box in my car to fill the libraries.
And it's a great way, you know, for us, especially some of the little free libraries could be community partners or little free libraries in areas where there isn't one that's being cared for, and so looking after the actual structure of the little free library and making sure that there's kids' books in it all the time.
Is there a way to register the libraries? How do you know where they are?
Yeah, so some of them we do know where they are. You can, if you want a little free library, anybody can put one up, but you can also register it with Little Free Library if you want to.
Cool.
And that puts you on a map.
Got it. It's like a treasure map.
Yeah.
Right on. That's awesome. So I wanted to ask you about fundraising. There's a lot of nonprofits in Dane County, lots and lots and lots, and everyone does fundraising galas and all the things. You guys do something a little bit different.
We do. So we fundraise all year round, and then we also have a really fun event coming up in June called Ready to Wear, so a play on the word read. And it's a paper fashion show. So anyone can create a design team, so it can be a corporate team, nonprofit, individuals, a youth team, and they create fashion made out of paper, and they compete on the catwalk. And it's a super fun event. It's definitely different than a sit-down gala, so you're sort of entertained from the moment the show starts. Mm-hmm. We have celebrity judges, and of course someone's deemed the top winner with a paper crown and sash.
Yes.
But it's very entertaining. The judges help narrow it down, and the audience all gets to vote at the end for their favorite.
So how many entrants did you have last year?
We had, I think, 20 teams compete.
And how much money do you raise at this event?
Last year we raised just over $85,000.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the goal for this year?
This year's goal, I want to say off the top of my head, is $95,000.
Perfect.
I mean, $100,000 would be great.
Or more, right.
Or more. All of the money raised goes towards helping us provide our free books and services to kids and educators in our county. We have a full team of staff and a book center and everything else that we need to make sure that we have funds for to keep everything going.
And if someone wants to see some of the fashions from last year, you have them displayed at the book center.
We do have
just for like inspiration.
They're the artistry
amazing.
And creativity is amazing. It blows me away every year what people can make out of paper or what they've, thought up in their heads and then have their friends help them create these amazing paper costumes.
I mean, I attended last year, and some of them are obviously paper, like the suit made out of Monopoly money, right?
Yeah.
But then some of them, you're like, wow, that's really made out of paper.
Yeah, some of them looks like regular clothing, but
like
it's made
runway
out of
fashion.
Yeah, out of paper. Others, it could be Monopoly money, newspaper print.
Any paper.
There was, a team that made tickets all out of tickets that were from the radio station.
Right.
So it was all different concerts they had been to. But it's amazing. And then obviously the models are modeling it. So they're trying to woo the crowd and get your vote. But it's a really fun show. It's very unique and memorable.
So that happens in June every year.
Mm-hmm.
And where can people go to find out more?
Our website has everything.
Yeah.
MadisonReadingProject.com.
For sponsorship, for signing up the team.
We'll probably need like a couple more teams yet.
Yeah.
Tickets are on there, and we'll have a silent auction and
Cool.
things.
All
but
the things.
It's definitely fun.
My favorite part was that after the fashion show, all the models come out and roam around so you can get up close and look at the way that things were crafted.
Yes, I always love when the teams do come out or the models in their paper clothing because, even on stage you can see them, but when you see some of these outfits up close and all of the details that are in them, and so lots and lots of photos of all the teams and the models or people that are wearing them. It's a pretty amazing event, and all of those teams help us create this amazing fundraiser. Well, the second book bus launch is on May 18th at the Cole Center. So it's a public event at 10:30.
Hop on the website to get more information
That's
about
also
that.
going to be on the website.
Yeah, and we'll get to see photos and video of it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
On the website if you can't be there. Today is World Book Day according to the internet. And so I'm going to donate a bunch of books to you.
Awesome.
That are diverse titles. So let me see. This is a board book called We Are the Rainbow, the Colors of Pride, and it's the history of the Pride flag.
Oh,
and it has
great.
these really cool, like, different colored pages.
Yeah, I love that. I haven't seen
I
this
have
one.
that one.
Thank you. I get excited about every.
Okay, this one is called Love Makes a Family.
Yes.
Also a board book. This one
love
is
that
just
book.
about, it's a, read aloud book about what's important in the family. And that's the family members, the people,
Yes.
right? And this book is about a woman named Edna Lewis. Do you know her?
No.
Okay, so most people know James Beard and Julia Child. We should all know Edna Lewis as well. Edna Lewis is considered the queen of soul food. She's really important to American cuisine. She was born in Freetown, Virginia, and made her way to New York City. And then she created this style of cooking that was like Southern fusion with French. And there's actually an Edna Lewis Award given in Southern restaurants in America. She is a neat woman. You will love that. So I had to give you something food oriented.
Yes.
And then the last one is called Strong. Do you know this book?
I have seen that one.
I love this book. So the illustrator, Nidhi Chanani, is one of my favorite kids book illustrators. She did Pashmina and Jukebox, which are both really cool titles. The author, Rob Kearney and Eric Rosswood. Rob Kearney is a strong man. This is his story, illustrated by Nidhi. You're going to love it. You're gonna love
I can't
love
wait
it.
to read it.
So
People always ask me, what's a book you're reading right now? And I always have kids' books.
Why not? I mean, that's your life. There's nothing wrong with kids'
Occasionally
books.
I do read quote-unquote adult books, but...
I would be surprised if you told me you were reading War and Peace or, something of that nature.
I think kids' books have all the, like, stories, and it could be imaginative or happy, or you could be learning something.
Yeah.
It's got all kinds of morals.
Good messaging.
Good messages. And, of course, beautiful illustrations that adults don't always get.
Everything from, I just handed you some board books and some picture books, but even some of the graphic novels and the young adult books are great. So no one's going to blame you for reading kids' books. You can get through them quicker anyways.
See? Well, and that too. I'm like, I read several books this week.
I know, I can never say that. Well, Rowan, thanks so much for coming and talking all things books and Madison Reading Project.
Thank you.
And how to help kids have books in their homes. So important,
Yeah,
right?
we're all about giving kids books and building their own home libraries with their caregivers, whether that's siblings, grandparents, parents, and in some cases too, if they're at a doctor's office or at a social worker, having some awesome happy books there for kids to read and take home is, we just want to be able to provide that for learning and for comfort.
So it's MadisonReadingProject.com. .com. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Vicki. Appreciate it.
Yeah.